The American justice system has long claimed to uphold fairness, yet a disturbing pattern of selective prosecution reveals a stark double standard. Ordinary citizens face severe punishment for harmless, humorous online posts, while corrupt elites like James Comey, former FBI director, brazenly incite violence against President Donald Trump with impunity. Comey's 8647 post on May 15, 2025, a deliberate call to assassinate Trump, coded as 86, kill, and 47, Trump's presidential designation, stands in sharp contrast to the experiences of Americans like Douglas Mackey, who endured political prosecution for satirical memes. This article examines the abuse of power that targets average citizens with fabricated crimes for comedic posts. While Comey, a nationally known figure, has so far escaped criminal indictment or arrest despite actions that may cause for immediate arrest, highlighting the urgent need for equal justice and stricter scrutiny of public figures who wield their influence to harm. The ordeal of Douglas Mackey, a victim of political prosecution. Douglas Mackey, a Trump supporter, became a prime example of governmental overreach when he was arrested in 2021, convicted in 2023, and sentenced to 7 months in prison for 2016 memes that jokingly suggested Democrats could vote for Hillary Clinton by texting. These posts, clearly satirical and meant to amuse, were labeled as election interference by the FBI and Department of Justice, a charge widely criticized as politically motivated. Mackey, posting under the pseudonym Ricky Vaughn, was not inciting violence or causing harm. He was engaging in the kind of online humor millions share daily. Sitting at home or on his phone, likely sharing these posts with a small group of friends, Mackey posed no real threat. Yet, under the influence of an FBI culture shaped by Comey's tenure as director from 2013 to 2017, Mackey faced life-altering consequences for a fake crime. His case underscores a chilling reality. Average Americans can be selectively targeted, charged with baseless offenses, and incarcerated for years, simply for exercising free speech in a humorous context. In contrast, James Comey, a nationally known figure, posted 8,647 as a verifiable death threat, a far more dangerous act given his influence and history of corruption. Unlike Mackey's innocent humor, Comey's post was a malicious command to kill, leveraging his platform to incite violence across the nation. Other Americans targeted for innocent humor. Mackey's ordeal is not an isolated incident. Numerous citizens, typically innocent Americans posting from the safety of their homes or on their phones for small groups of friends, have faced similar abuses of power for light-hearted or thought-provoking online posts that posed no real threat. Anthony Comello. In 2019, Comello posted abstract cartoon memes on social media promoting QAnon conspiracy theories, including humorous images mocking political figures like Nancy Pelosi with exaggerated, cartoonish depictions of her as a puppet. The FBI investigated him as part of a broader probe into QAnon activities, and though arrested for a separate crime, a mob-related killing, his memes were cited as evidence of extremist intent, contributing to a 2-year sentence in 2021 as reported by the New York Post. Comello's memes, likely shared with a small audience, posed no real threat, unlike Comey's targeted call to assassinate Trump. Cameron Shea. In 2020, Shea shared funny cartoon memes within a neo-Nazi group, including images ridiculing political opponents with exaggerated caricatures, such as a cartoon donkey labeled Dems, tripping over its own hooves. The FBI investigated, and the DOJ charged him with conspiracy to commit cyberstalking and hate crimes, leading to a 3-year prison sentence in 2021 as documented by the DOJ. Shea's posts, intended to entertain a small group, lacked the malicious intent of Comey's 8647 post, which reached a national audience with a clear command to kill. Florida teenager. 2016, a Florida teenager was arrested for a 2016 meme mocking Hillary Clinton, featuring a cartoon image of her tripping over a scandal banana peel. Local law enforcement, with reported FBI involvement, pursued charges, and the teen faced juvenile penalties or jail time, as noted in public discussions on X and reported by local news outlets like the Tampa Bay Times. This teen, likely posting for friends, posed no danger, unlike Comey, whose influence amplifies the risk of his threat. Christina Wong. In 2016, comedian Christina Wong posted a satirical tweet as part of her performance art, jokingly offering to pay for votes, with cookies to mock voter fraud narratives. The tweet was clearly comedic, but the FBI investigated her for potential election interference. While she avoided charges, the investigation, reported by the New York Times in 2017, caused significant distress and public scrutiny. Wong's post, shared for a small audience of followers, was harmless compared to Comey's national death threat. A Joshua Trump's classmate, 2019 and 2019, a middle school student in Delaware, shared a meme on Instagram depicting Joshua Trump, a child invited to the State of the Union address, as a cartoon mini-Trump, with a MAGA hat, captioned, "Trump's secret son." Local authorities investigated the classmate for cyberbullying, resulting in suspension and a brief juvenile detention period, as reported by USA Today. This playful meme, shared among peers, posed no threat, unlike Comey's calculated incitement. Daniel McMahon. In 2019, McMahon shared a meme featuring a burning cross alongside satirical commentary targeting a black activist running for office in Virginia. Meant as a provocative joke within alt-right circles, the post led to his arrest by the FBI and prosecution by the DOJ for cyberstalking and bias-motivated interference. McMahon was sentenced to over 3 years in prison in 2020, despite the meme lacking any direct call to violence, as reported by the DOJ. McMahon's post, shared in a niche online space, was not a public incitement, unlike Comey's widely visible threat. These individuals, often posting in private or to small audiences, believed they were engaging in harmless humor or private communication, much like countless others who share outrageous statements online without consequence. However, when the government, particularly under the influence of figures like Comey, seeks to make a political point, it weaponizes vague laws to target citizens, charging them with fabricated crimes and imposing severe punishments. This selective prosecution chills free speech, punishing Americans for humor while ignoring the broader context of online expression. James Comey's 8647 post, a real threat with malicious intent. In stark contrast, James Comey's 8647 post on May 15, 2025, was a deliberate and dangerous call to assassinate President Trump. The number 8647 combines 86, slang for kill, and 47, Trump's presidential designation, a code Comey, with his extensive law enforcement background, undoubtedly understood. His career as FBI Director, U.S. Attorney, and Deputy Attorney General equipped him with deep knowledge of coded communication, making any claim of ignorance implausible. Comey's documented anti-Trump vendetta, stemming from his 2017 dismissal, further confirms his intent. Unlike the humorous memes of Mackey and others, Comey's post was not a joke. He meant for people to see 8647 and interpret it as a command to kill Trump. Comey's choice to post on the 8647th day since the September 11, 2001 attacks, an eerie coincidence noted by online commentators, adds another layer of sinister intent. Some speculate this timing was a deliberate nod to national trauma, amplifying the post's impact. Others argue it was a signal to anti-Trump extremists within his network, leveraging his influence to incite violence. Still others see it as a power play, a way for Comey to assert relevance by targeting Trump, knowing his public profile would ensure the message reached a wide audience. Every interpretation points to malice. Comey, a man who views himself as a serious figure whose words carry weight, posted 8647 to provoke harm, not humor. His swift deletion of the post after backlash from Trump's allies, including Donald Trump Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, further betrays his awareness of its incriminating nature. As a nationally known figure, Comey's verifiable death threat poses a far greater danger than the innocent posts of average citizens, who lack the platform and intent to cause real harm. The dichotomy: government abuse versus elite impunity. The contrast between Comey's actions and the treatment of average Americans reveals a profound hypocrisy. Citizens like Mackey, McMahon, Camelo, Shea, the Florida teenager Wong, and Joshua Trump's classmate faced the full wrath of the FBI, DOJ, and local law enforcement for posts or actions that were often comedic or private, posing no real threat to public safety. These individuals, typically sitting at home or on their phones sharing with small groups of friends, were not inciting widespread violence or commanding harm. They were joking, pranking, or communicating in personal contexts, never imagining their actions would be twisted into fake crimes. Yet the government, under the influence of figures like Comey, abused its power to selectively prosecute them, weaponizing ambiguous laws to suppress dissent and score political points. The result was incarceration, probation, or significant legal consequences, all for actions that lacked the malicious intent of Comey's post. Meanwhile, Comey, a corrupt former official with a history of exploiting power for personal and networked criminal gain, posted a real threat to assassinate the president and has so far escaped criminal indictment or arrest despite actions that may cause for immediate arrest as of May 17, 2025. This leniency is unacceptable. Comey's 8647 post aligns with a pattern of others using the same code to signal harm, as 8647 has been recognized in law enforcement contexts as a call to kill specific targets. Unlike average citizens, Comey is not a random jokester. He is a public figure who understands the weight of his words, particularly given his past roles. He posted 8647 to send a message, fully intending for it to be seen and acted upon, a far cry from the innocent humor of Mackey and others, whose limited reach and comedic intent posed no real danger. A call for equal justice and stricter standards. Comey's case demands a reckoning. If the government can prosecute citizens for humorous memes, it must apply the full force of federal law, specifically 18 U.S.C. Section 871, which criminalizes threats against the president, to Comey with unrelenting vigor. His history of corruption, expertise in coded threats, and anti-Trump animus confirm his malicious intent, and his network's potential involvement necessitates a thorough investigation by the Secret Service and FBI. Comey's resources and connections make him a flight risk, and his influence could incite further violence if he remains free, justifying immediate arrest and detention until trial. Public figures, especially those with current or past roles in law enforcement and administration like Comey, must be held to a higher standard, not a lower one. Their words carry greater weight and risk, particularly when they have a history of abuse as Comey does. His actions reflect a belief that he can evade consequences, a belief rooted in the systemic leniency afforded to corrupt elites. This double standard, where average Americans face harsh punishment for jokes while elites escape accountability for real threats, undermines the promise of impartial justice. The First Amendment protects free speech, including humorous and outrageous online posts. But when public figures with serious responsibilities incite violence, their actions warrant stricter scrutiny and severe consequences. Conclusion: the abuse of power against ordinary Americans like Douglas Mackey, Daniel McMahon, Anthony Comello, Cameron Shea, a Florida teenager, Christina Wong, and Joshua Trump's classmate, prosecuted for humorous, mostly non-threatening memes or private actions, reveals a justice system that selectively targets citizens while shielding corrupt elites like James Comey. Comey's 8647 post was a deliberate call to assassinate President Trump, a real threat backed by his expertise, vendetta, and the coded significance of the number, including its connection to the 8,647 days since 9/11. Unlike the innocent humor of average citizens, Comey's post was a malicious command to kill, yet he has so far escaped criminal indictment or arrest despite actions that may cause for immediate arrest, exposing a glaring hypocrisy. The Secret Service and FBI must prosecute Comey with the same intensity applied to citizens, rooting out his network and holding him accountable under 18 U.S.C. Section 871. This case is a critical opportunity to dismantle the systemic leniency for elites, restore equal justice, and set a precedent that public figures who abuse their influence face the harshest consequences. Comey must be held accountable, or the principle of impartial law remains a hollow promise.